Hey, Aidan Booth here, and I'm on the call today with Matt Carter. Matt is a good friend of mine, and he's also someone who does seven figures selling his products on Amazon. And we're going to be diving into some really good information that's going to help you make more money on Amazon. And if you haven't started an Amazon business, then you're going to see some of the things that we do, and specifically that Matt does, to identify winning products. So Matt, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule here to join us and share some tips.
Hi, Aidan. No, it's a pleasure. Thanks very much for having me on. Okay, do you want me to just jump straight in and start sharing some tips
Just
with the audience?
just dive in. Where do you start here?
Great, yeah. So what we're going to be talking about today is for people that want to sell their own branded product, otherwise known as private label or white label. So some of you on this call will be really new to this sort of concept. Others might be more advanced. So I'll just do my best to cater for everybody on the call. But private label, very quickly, is where you would get a product from a manufacturer. You're not making it yourself. You're just getting a product that's already made, but the manufacturer is allowing you to put your brand on the product and on the product packaging. And it's the quickest way to get your own branded product to market. And you don't have to get involved with designing the product or manufacturing process. So that's what we're talking about today. One of the best platforms, not the only platform, but one of the best to do that is Amazon, because you can use Amazon's FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon. If you don't know what that is, then just go and Google and you'll learn about that. It's a great system. It allows you to list your product for sale on Amazon's website. When sales are made off the website, Amazon will fulfill those orders for you with their warehouse network across the United States and other countries. So in a quick snapshot, that's the model that we're looking at. So I'm not going to go into any more detail about the ins and outs of the model as such on this call, but what I do want to focus on this call is helping people understand how to pick an opportunity to go for on Amazon, because there is an art form to that, a sort of a science rather to it, to picking good products and bad products. And I've been doing this for a number of years. I've picked some really good products and I've picked some really bad ones as well. Like, you learn as you go. So what I want to achieve in this call is to try and help people shortcut that process by not having to go through the mistakes that I went through. So that's what we're going to be aiming to do. So we're at Amazon.com. What we'll do is go over to the departments on the left, the drop down, and go to full store directory. So if we click on that, you get a pretty good snapshot of the whole Amazon marketplace. So your typical products that you want to private label are simple products. You don't want to aim for complex products, like that would potentially have a lot of patents and things like this. You try and avoid those sort of products because they're not easy to private label. You want to go for simple products. So there's a lot of products that fit this criteria if you look at home and garden and tools and sports and outdoors. These are some really great areas to start looking in and stay in. You don't even have to go past that. You can also go to automotive and industrial, beauty and health and grocery. Some of this is good. Some of it's what you call gated, which means that it's not just open to go and start selling products in. Amazon have requirements. So when you're starting out, I would avoid health and personal care products because they are gated. It doesn't mean you can't do them. It just means there's a few more hoops to jump through. So we're not going to focus on that in this call, but that's for another time, another training video that we'll hopefully put out at some point. So you can do things like toys and baby. Again, this isn't gated as such, these products, but some of them have a higher liability risk, so you need to be a bit more careful, that's all. So a product that's targeted at the baby opposed to a product that's targeted at the baby's parents would have different requirements. Say, look, if you're looking at a product that's targeted at the parent, unlikely to need any product safety testing at all. It's easy to do those sort of private label products. Very easy, simple, straightforward. Something that's targeted at the baby, like a baby bottle, yes, it's got more compliance. So I would avoid products like that. Okay, so that's the first rule of thumb when you're trying to decipher where do I begin. You need to use a bit of common sense on products that would require more testing and compliance. Stay away from those. And that's why I mentioned health and personal care. Because Amazon's gated some of those anyway, but the ones that they haven't down here, like baby products directed at the baby, they would. Some of the stuff in clothing is gated, not all of it. Jewelry, I think, is fine as well. I haven't actually sold anything in jewelry myself. Now, people often ask me, what's the best niche to go into on Amazon? Like, just tell me where it is, and I'll go there, and I'll just do it. Well, it's it's the $1 million question. There's no definitive one answer for that, and the reason for that is there's a lot of different goals that people have. It depends what your goal is. If you just want to make something like, I don't know, $10,000 a month, that's really achievable on Amazon. Some people want to go a lot further than that and make $100,000 a month. And so it depends what your goals are. So if you want to go after a smaller goal and you're happy with that, that's totally fine. It's up to each person what they want to achieve with their business activities. You might go after categories that the upside is a lot smaller, but you're happy to go after a lot, those smaller products over time and build up to something like, say, $10,000. Whereas other people might want to just go for the big bucks and go after bigger categories and bigger products. Then that will affect which way you go. So, for an example, the baby category in general, there's a lot less money spent in here compared to sports and outdoors. Sports and outdoors and home and garden are the biggest categories on Amazon. They're really big. Health and personal care is big as well, not grocery. Grocery is not the same, and beauty neither, but the health subsection of this one is big, very big. A lot of money being spent here. Grocery and beauty, less so. But it doesn't mean there's not good products to go for in there. It's just they're smaller categories. So I would probably...
Hey, Matt, just to jump in one second there, while you were saying that, I thought I should clarify to people that even in some of these more obscure categories, like if you scroll down there, industrial and automotive, I think it's called, automotive and industrial, that's a smaller category, but there's still products in there that could earn you tens of thousands of dollars per month. So when we're saying that, there's big categories that can earn you a lot more money, we're talking potentially six figures or more per month. There's plenty of products in some of these smaller categories which could still give you a six-figure per year income easily, automotive and industrial and lots of these other smaller ones as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they absolutely are. So, and we'll compare the difference between two when we do an example. That's a really good point, though, that Aidan brings up. So, I think what the best thing to do now is just to dive in and look at an example. If we go into here, like pet supplies is always a good one. There's a lot of private label potential in this category of pet supplies. There's heaps of stuff that you can easily sell to pet owners. I mean, there's just so many dogs, and cats is the biggest part of this, but you can go after, so many different products in these categories. So if we were to just like go and choose a category for dogs, let's say, we'd stay away from, for now, treats, but apparel and accessories. There's so much in here. But some of the things that you need to understand when you're looking at these sorts of products is you need to understand, how do I tell if a product is selling? So the quickest way is just look at some of the metrics. So if we look at this one here for this dog anxiety jacket, that's kind of bizarre name. I'm not sure what this product actually does. I thought it was just a thing to keep them warm, but they've called it some sort of anxiety jacket. I don't know, maybe he gets anxious when he's cold. But when you go down here and have a look at the product details down here, this is the best indication if a product is making money or not. So the best benchmark to look at is this Amazon bestseller rank. So the lower this number here, it says 1,127. The lower the number, the more units it's selling per month on Amazon. So the lower the number, not the higher. So some people get that confused straight out of the gates, but the lower the number, the better. So as a rough rule of thumb in the pet category, anything where you're sort of 2,000 and under is going to make decent money. If you can get under 1,000, I mean, you're going to get to your $10,000 a month goal pretty quickly with one product. That's how easy it is to make money on Amazon. You can have one product under that 1,000 BSR, and you're well on your way to your goal of getting to $10,000 a month. So,
and just to Just to clarify there, where it says Amazon bestseller rank, you'll see it says 1,127, and then just below that it says number 1, and below that it says number 6. They are like subcategories. So when we're talking about looking at a bestseller rank, or we call it a BSR, we're talking about the main category, which is pet supplies, the top level category.
Absolutely, yeah. So you don't really, the indication here is not these sub ones here. We're not worried about those. To get an indication, it's the top level. So you just look at that line there. So that's what we're looking at. So this product is making good money. They've got a lot of reviews though. They've obviously been around for a while because they've got 5,000 reviews. So a product like that is not going to be the easiest to compete with because the sheer volume of reviews, but it's never impossible because if you get a certain number of reviews, a few hundred, and they're really good, and you've got a superior product, you can actually beat products with heaps of reviews. But it's not advisable when you're new because it's a bit more challenging.
The other thing, just to mention there about going up against products like this one that's got thousands of reviews and it's quite well established in this marketplace, is that you don't have to be number 1. I mean, you could be, the 10th the 10th biggest seller of these dog jackets and still make thousands of dollars per month. So you sometimes only need a tiny slice of the pie to be able to earn really good money doing this. So I wouldn't be afraid of products that have got thousands or even hundreds of reviews. One thing that I like to do, Matt, and I don't know if you do this as well, but if I'm doing a keyword search like dog jacket in Amazon, or potentially like a certain size of dog jacket or something, is just get an overall feel for what the competition is like by looking at the reviews. And if I sometimes see that, okay, there's 16 different products ranked on the first page of Amazon, if maybe 5 or 6 or half of them don't have that many reviews, then that's kind of an indicator to me that maybe there's an opportunity for me to get in there. Do you do anything like that when you're sort of analyzing the competition, or how do you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the key things that I would do with a product, like if I was going to look at a product like this, is I assess, I find out what the main keyword is for that describes that product. In this case, I think it's dog jacket is the main keyword, but one of the key things that I like to see with the product is a product that can be described with lots and lots of different keywords. So for a keyword is just a descriptive phrases that describe the product that somebody might type into Amazon. So if we go back to Amazon here and type in dog jacket, I like to see products that have got a variety of keywords. So here there is some variety, dog jackets for small dogs, for medium dogs, for large dogs, for winter, waterproof, XL, XXL, XL. That's a little bit of variety. What I like to see even better is if there's another way to describe the word jacket, like it might be, I don't know, if dog coat. That's another way to swap out the word jacket. The more variety you have to describe the same product, what that means is there's lots of opportunity for you to show up higher up in Amazon. The best analogy I can give for this is it's like a game of musical chairs, that childhood game where I don't know if you've played it. If you haven't, just Google musical chairs children's game. But it's a game where there's a lot of chairs and children have to jostle at a party to get on a chair. The more chairs there are, it's easier to get a seat. So with Amazon and ranking in Amazon, the more keywords that are available, the more opportunity there is for you to make money. So if there's a very narrow field of keywords, it is a little bit more difficult. So one of the key things I love to see with a product is variety in keywords. And some products just have so many keywords to describe it because there's many interchangeable phrases and it means the same thing. And that way, that's really good because even if you've got a really competitive product like this, dog anxiety jacket or dog jacket, he might not be showing up in Amazon very well for dog coat because he doesn't know what he's doing, and he hasn't optimized his product page, which you do little tricks to the page to get it to show up in Amazon. He may have neglected to do that for all of the keyword phrases, and sometimes it's hard to do it for all of the keyword phrases anyway. So you can super optimize your page for like the longer tail phrase, the variations that this person may not have done, and you can show up for that. So that's a good indication. That's one thing I look at. But if we just went for the main keyword and a look at how hard that would be, if we look at the competition, dog jacket, I don't look at the sponsored listing because that's an advertisement. But if this is the main keyword, and I'd have to understand that product a bit more to be sure that it is, because I'm not sure what an anxiety jacket is. It might be something different that I'm missing. But I would be looking at these products here, and the first thing I look at is how heavy the reviews are, like Aidan was saying. These reviews look reasonably light. Anything under sort of 400 or under, 500 or under isn't a big deal. When they're all like over the thousands, then it becomes a bigger deal. There's a few that are, but their reviews aren't fantastic. This one's probably one of the better ones, it seems to be, but there's a lot that are outranking him. So it's not just the number of reviews equals how high you rank. It's not that. It's just it helps the conversion rate of a product if they've got a lot of reviews. But this one doesn't look too competitive on the number of reviews and all. It looks reasonably weak, if I'm honest. There's a couple, and there's our guy there, I think, with the anxiety jacket. He's way down here. So what that...
Matt, just sorry to jump in there. Just when you're browsing down through here, one thing that jumped out at me is the sort of the wide range of prices that these have, like that one, that anxiety jacket, $34. But a lot of these things are $12, $13, $14. What would you tell people, or what advice would you give them about price point? Because if something's selling at $12, $13, there can't be that much margin or markup in there.
Yeah, I don't tend to sell products at that low price because you have to sell a large amount of units to make a good profit. I tend to like to go for $20 products. $20 to $30 is my sweet spot. I know people that do make a lot of money at the sort of $12, $13 mark, but getting any lower than that, it's pretty hard to make margin. So my advice, it would be not to go that low. $15 is fine. I wouldn't go too much lower though than that because it's difficult. The other thing that I would start to do if I was looking at doing a dog jacket to see if there's money in a dog jacket is you need to size up the competition and look at the weaknesses of the competition. You absolutely have to look at all their weaknesses. So I'll spend a pretty long amount of time analyzing each of these competitors. So I'll look at this guy and go, okay, you're ranked number 1. What's your BSR? Okay, it's 4,000. It's not a fantastic BSR, but he's still making money. It might be a few $1,000s a month. But keep in mind, if you've got half a dozen products at a few $1,000s a month, you're on your way to your goal of 10 grand. So each individual product does not have to make you 10 grand. You build up a portfolio over time of products. So I look at this one and then I'll go, okay, you haven't got a great overall rating, and look at his 1-star reviews. There's something wrong with this product. There's something inherently wrong with it because it's getting quite a significant amount of negative reviews. So I will read the negative reviews all day long and find out what people didn't like about it. It's one of the most important things to do when selling on Amazon is analyze the negative reviews that products get and make a big spreadsheet or whatever way you work best to keep organized. And then once I've collated all of the weaknesses of products, I then ask myself, how could I improve this product slightly to overcome these weaknesses? Because then when I list my product on Amazon, I should technically have a superior product at this point. And then when I list my product, I highlight why it's superior. And a lot of the people who sell on Amazon aren't really specialist sellers on Amazon like we do. They're more, Amazon is one channel for them. They might sell on, to Walmart and all these other channels, eBay. Amazon's just one channel, and so they don't really focus on it, and they're not really super good at it either, which is a great thing for sellers like us who are good at it. You can beat them all day long, but you look for their weaknesses in their product, and then you can overcome them, because some of them won't do a great job at listing their product, or they've just got an inferior product anyway, and it's going to collect bad reviews all day long, and this person's just going to start to suffer more and more as their review rating gets worse and worse. At the moment, it's just hanging on to a 4-star. Once that drops to 3.5 star, this thing is going to tank. So it's really important that you don't rush your product selection. Once you're starting to see, hey, I think there's an opportunity in dog jackets, because, you know, there's enough money being made, say, if we look and analyze, I'll do the top 3, but you could do more, but let's just quickly do the top 3. You want to get an indication, is there money being made? So this one's got a BSR of 2,300, so there's money being made here. Like, this is, you know, like I said before, anything under 2,000 in pets is definitely worth going for, or even under 4,000. It's a sliding scale on how much money you'll make, but that's a healthy indication. If we look at the next guy, this guy here, go right down, he's at 8,000, so that's starting to concern me. He's not making heaps of money. So I'll keep going down a little bit further, and I'll just analyze a few more, and I at least want to see in the top sort of 6 or 8, 3 or 4 of them that are making money in a decent BSR. If I can't even find 3 or 4 in the top 8, I'll then probably go, look, I don't think it's worth potentially going after this product. This guy's got a BSR of 10,000. The other thing to keep in mind with this sort of product is this is a seasonal product, because this is to keep pets warm in winter. So at the moment, as of doing this video, it's not winter in the United States, so this is probably an indication of why these BSRs would be worse, because people aren't buying this now at this time of year.
Just a couple of points to jump in there that I wanted to make there. We're talking about the BSR and how it indicates the sales volume. Now, you already mentioned this, but it's worth reiterating. Each category is slightly different. So something with a BSR of 2,000 in home and kitchen is going to be selling many, many more products than something with a BSR of 2,000 in pet supplies. The other thing that I noticed there was that dog jackets come in different sizes and different colors. And one thing that we've learned from experience is that can be challenging for lots of different reasons. Firstly, you might have to order more inventory to cover the different sizes that people are buying. But also, oftentimes, people will buy the wrong size because they might think that their dog is a small, when in reality it might be an extra small. Also with colours, the more variations that you've got, the more challenging it can be to do the marketing, handle all the logistics. I don't know if you've done any different sized products, Matt, but we have, and they can be a real challenge. So if I was starting from scratch, I probably would try to avoid something that had lots of different variations, sizes and colours to begin with, and just go with something that was just one stock standard product. So I'd probably, personally, wouldn't go for something with sizes.
Yeah, I definitely don't as well. It's a good point. This is just a random selection for the people watching. It's not something I would go for. But yeah, I wouldn't. Sizes is a bit of a nightmare at the beginning, and color. So this would be a red flag. I wouldn't go after this one. But if you found one that didn't have this, then the same principles of looking at the BSR to see if there's a buoyant enough amount of money being made. So if, again, that BSR just gives you an indication if money's being made. This one's got 6,800. So it's a seasonal product. In summertime, all these BSRs would probably go really low, because if we look at Google Trends, you can see the trend here in people in Google typing in dog jacket. It's definitely seasonal. So that's something to keep in mind, is seasonal products. You got to be careful of that. It can look worse in winter if it's the summer, and then vice versa. So that's something to keep in mind. But so let's just, for hypothetically, let's say that we found in the top 6, we found 3 products that had BSRs around 2,000 or less. Then I would say that's a healthy sign that there's money being made. So, and then if there's a variety of keywords, that's a good sign. It's not a be-all and end-all. You don't have to have a variety of keywords. But just keep in mind, if there's only like 2 keywords that describe this product, then it's sort of a winner-takes-all situation. Whereas you've got lots of keywords, there's just so much more opportunity for you to easily make money, because you can optimize for those keywords. So that's a pretty critical part about it as well. We talked about the price point. Don't go too low. You want to go for ones. I prefer $20 is my sweet spot. I love selling products at about $20. I have got products that are up to $37 or no, $40. So that's something to keep in
Well,
mind.
just a couple of other little points, things that I actually like about this. Again, I probably wouldn't go for it like you said because of the price point, and the doesn't look like there's huge money necessarily to be made there. But there are a couple of great things about this product that I like. One is that it's going to be something that's durable. It's not going to get broken when it's being shipped. Whereas if you were selling, something made out of glass, then it could well get broken and smashed when it's being shipped, and that's never a good thing. The other thing, this here, especially for small dogs, these are going to be quite small and lightweight products, which means your shipping is going to be a lot less, and you're most likely going to be able to do it to begin with all via air as opposed to going by sea. That's going to speed things up for you and make it a lot easier. Matt, just when we were chatting a couple of hours ago, you mentioned something to me about the size of the packaging. Do you want to sort of explain that to people? I know we're going off on a bit of a tangent, but talking about the size of the packaging and how you can save some money.
So if you're using, I'll just go to Amazon FBA Calculator. There's a calculator if you go to Amazon FBA Calculator. This is a really good tool to give you an indication if you're going to do a product. Let's just choose one of these ones here. If we go to this product and get what it's called as ASIN down here, you can see it. Every product on Amazon's got a unique ASIN. If you take it over to this tool and plug it in, Amazon will give you an indication of the price. So this one's a bit of a difficult one because it's asking me the product dimensions, which I don't know. So let's pick another one. Hopefully it won't do that for another one. But you want to make sure that you've got a product that is small, and because Amazon charge different fee rates depending on how big your product is. So if we look at this product here and we say it's selling for $15, we'll do for now, and we calculate it, Amazon's going to tell us that the fulfillment fees that they're going to charge you, they give you a breakdown of it here. So fulfillment by Amazon fees here is a breakdown. So you can see on screen here, they give you a breakdown of what they're going to charge you to fulfill this item. It's $1 for order handling, pick and pack. Sorry, that's jumping over the screen. $1.06, and weight handling, 82 cents. If your product is quite big and your packaging is really big and a lot of air and it's not very compact packaging, you're going to put yourself in a different tier for Amazon's pricing, and so your weight handling fee or your pick and pack fee are going to go up. Especially weight handling is one to be really careful of. You can shoot yourself into other categories, and you might find all of a sudden your weight handling fee is like $4, which you don't want, because that's going to really hurt your margin. So when you're looking at packaging and packaging size, it's really handy to have small packaging. Nice and small and compact, as small as you can get it really, and then you're going to get better Amazon fulfillment fees, and all of that's really important because you make more profit the less costs that you have. So
it's also going to save you money in the shipping, because if you're sending something over, let's say you've got a supplier in China and you're sending it over to the FBA warehouses in the United States. If you're sending something in a box, let's say it's the size of a shoebox, for example, if your packaging is really small, then maybe you could fit 20 items inside that shoebox. But if your packaging is a bit bigger, then maybe you can only fit 10 items inside that shoebox, and as a result, your shipping cost is probably going to double. So lots of reasons why you should aim for small packaging.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the screen here, if you just type in product size tiers Amazon, you'd get to this URL, and that gives you all the tiers here and the size of the boxes, so you can see the length, width, height. So you can calculate exactly what fee you'll get charged before you do it. So this is a good little thing to be able to do. A lot of people don't realize this, and they start selling on Amazon, send a product in, and have no idea what their fees might be. But if you get clever about it, you know exactly what your fees are going to be, because you know exactly what tier Amazon's going to put your product in, because you know the size and dimensions beforehand. And when you're talking to a supplier about a product, you want to have this conversation and find out, how big is the box that you're going to put this in, because they might be able to make it smaller. I've had that before. being able to shave off a little bit on a box and get it into a smaller tier, and then pay a lot less in Amazon fees. And over a year, that adds up to quite a lot of money. So these little savvy hacks are, they really can help you a lot to do well. So that's how you can figure out what tier you would be on Amazon. And then Amazon's even got examples on their website. If you put in fulfillment fees for orders on Amazon.com, you would find this page. And they walk you through examples of how they do their fee structure. So you can calculate how much you're going to be paying in fees. So just to come back to these products here, Aidan was saying small products are better, and that's the reason they're better, is because they are less in fees, less in transport costs. So it's a little bit easier when you're beginning to go after smaller, light products. It certainly doesn't mean they're the only way to go. So I certainly have products that are quite big. And the good thing about big products, once you get in the swing of selling on Amazon, you might want to try doing a larger product that can only be done by sea freight and never by air freight because it's too expensive to do. The reason you might do that, and again, don't do it straight away, but the reason you might do that is the competition tends to be a lot lower on those types of products because less people want to deal with that. They don't like the idea of only being able to sea freight a product in from China or whatever country you're getting the product from. You might even be getting it locally. But they don't like the idea. They think, oh, that sounds really difficult. But in reality, it's actually not difficult. But I like that. Sometimes I see that as an opportunity, but I wouldn't do that first. I would stick to a small, light product that you can air freight in from, say, China or whatever country you're sourcing from. Quickly get it in to Amazon and start selling it. Once you're making money on these light, small products, you might then want to look at doing another option, or you might not. But there is different ways to approach this. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach for choosing a product on Amazon. I certainly do a variety of them. But a rule of thumb to begin with would be to go small and light. It's something that won't break and something that doesn't carry a lot of liability. Nobody's going to get hurt or, like products like that. So this ticks a lot of those boxes. The downside that Aidan mentioned is it's a little bit complicated with the colors and the sizing. So that's probably one that I would avoid initially. Dog toys is probably easier. Dog collars, these types of things don't have sizing. These can be great as well, but the downside of some of these is the price point. Stay away from something that sells for $2.79. You have got to sell so many of these to make money that I wouldn't do it. But there's so many products in these categories of toys and other types of accessories like leashes that don't have sizes. Very easy to private label. Again, what I would do is assess the competition for the product, find the main keyword, type it in, see if there's money being made. If it's easy to private label, great. Look at the negative reviews, really analyze them, and then if the reviews aren't, look at the weaknesses and think, is there a way I can do my product better? And then try and do that. Try and do your product better. And that's when you want to start thinking about finding a supplier for a product and working out, can you do this type of product like profitably? So if you were to find a product like, let's pick one that's actually got a decent price point. There's a lot of cheap stuff and toys. It's probably here. Let's look at this thing here. This probably is a little bit difficult. It's some sort of laser pet toy, but you might be able to do something like this actually. But this one's $17. If your cost price from your supplier is say $4. Then you need to also take out the cost of freighting it into Amazon and then Amazon's fees. So you might be left with, say, I don't know, $7. Let's say you're left with $7. That's a reasonable amount of profit. So that would be a good, reasonably good opportunity to potentially go after. But if you find out your cost price from your supplier is $12, this becomes really difficult. So one thing I tell people is don't get an emotional attachment to a product, because you might find everything else is lining up. There's lots of money being made. There's low competition. It's light and it's small. I can air freight it. I can find a private label supplier, and you think this is just fantastic. But if you can't get the price that you need, then don't go for the product. I've seen people.
Yeah, there's so many other opportunities. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of opportunities out there, and you were in the just the view that was showing all the different departments on Amazon, and just, I mean, you can spend hours in there drilling down into different categories and looking at different, the full store directory, that's the one I was talking about, drilling down and looking at different things, and it's an easy way to pass a few hours, that's for sure. I am quite conscious of the time here, and I know there's a lot more that we could talk about, and we can definitely do follow-up videos to talk about, the next step, supply chains, and dive deeper into certain sort of areas. But just sort of wrapping this up here, Matt, for someone that is looking at starting an Amazon business, and maybe they're concerned about saturation, it's obviously, selling private label has been quite popular for a few years now. What would you say to those people just about the general state of the industry and state of the business model?
Look, there is a lot more people doing it these days, but Amazon is growing so quickly that more and more people are buying on Amazon all the time. So, like, even if you did nothing, if you just put a product on there and really didn't do much with it, just by sheer momentum that Amazon is gaining, you should make more money with that product this year than you did last year, or because Amazon's just gaining momentum. So there's still lots of opportunity, but not only that, like, there are so many categories in here that you can go into, and
subcategories.
Categories. Yeah. So like, there's no way that all of the opportunities are saturated in here. There's just too many. There's new ones coming out all the time. Yeah, there is, and so you will find a little sub niche. Like, you find a little sub niche that works for you, and just start in there. But there's so many that you could go into, that there's just no way. And all you have to do to make a goal of like 10 grand a month is really not that difficult to do on Amazon. You just have to go and find a little sub niche. Like, don't go after something silly and try and rank on Amazon for weight loss supplement or something like that, because those are really heavily competitive niche markets. Those ones, you want to go after little nooks and crannies on Amazon, and there's plenty of them out there. And if you just can do a couple of products, 2 or 3 products over time, it's not that difficult to make it work on Amazon. So to answer your question, I think there's still lots of opportunity on Amazon, and it is growing. And the other thing is, Amazon's going around the world. Like, there's Amazon UK, there's Amazon Japan, Amazon's coming to Australia, where I live, next year. So Amazon's expanding all around the world, and you can take your products to different countries. So I think it's the easiest option for people to own their own business, physical product business. I think it's a great.
And the sky really is the limit for this. There's no glass ceiling in what you can earn. It really is a business model that you can scale, rinse and repeat. And like, as you say, there's just so much opportunity out there. Matt, I am really conscious of your time. Obviously, you've got a big business to run, but I just wanted to thank you very much for taking 30 or 40 minutes with us here and just going through a heap of different tips and tricks that people will be able to use. And I'd love to get you on again in the future and do a follow-up call with you, because I know there's so much more that we could go through. So thanks so much, man. Real pleasure having you with us.
Yeah, no, that's my pleasure. No problem. The only thing I'd finish up saying is there's a lot of different facets to this Amazon model. So to fit in a short call, it's quite hard to fit all of the pieces of the puzzle together. We've sort of done as best we can to give an overview of looking at particular products. But yeah, like Aidan said, I'd be happy to get on another call and we can look at different aspects of it, because there's different things that people will have questions about. How do you find a supplier for a product? That's a big question that comes up. How do you do packaging, design and stuff? How do you start getting a product to sell on Amazon? There's all of these questions that people have, but obviously we can't cover all these topics in one call, but hopefully that's given you a little bit of interest to start looking at it and more, and we can go over some other stuff at another date if Aidan wants to.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks again, Matt, and look forward to talking to you more about this and diving into some of these topics in more detail soon. Thanks, man.
Okay, thanks, Aidan.
Bye.